With the desire of giving liberation to the living creatures of this world, Lord Shiva had kept some portion of land on his Trishul after separating it from the rest of Brahma's creation. The name of this sacred place is Manikarnika. The Shivlinga by the name of Avinukta was established by Lord Shiva himself. Later on, this sacred place was brought down from the Trishul and established on the land of Shiva. This sacred place of pilgrimage later on became famous as Kashi and the Shivlinga as Avamukta. The origin of Triambakeshwar. During the ancient time there lived a famous sage named Gautami. The name of his wife was Ahilya. Once it did not rain for 100 years, as the result of which the whole area was affected by drought. Sage Gautami did a tremendous penance to please Varuna, who appeared before Gautam. He was requested to cause rain. But Varuna expressed his inability in causing rain. He told Gautam to please Lord Shiva so that his wish could be fulfilled. Later on, Varuna instructed Gautam to dig a pit, which he, Varuna, filled with water. Varuna blessed Gautam by saying that this pond would never dry up. The sages who had abandoned that place returned there. Everybody became happy and satisfied. One day, Sage Gautam instructed his disciples to fetch some water from that pond. When the disciples reached there, they found the wives of numerous sages present at the bank of the pond. The sages' wives did not allow them to take water, and instead they rebuked them. The disciples returned back to the hermitage and narrated the whole story to Sage Gautam. Ahilya pacified the angry disciples and went to the pond to fetch water. From that day onwards this became very daily routine. One day Ahilya met the wives of the sages. They tried to prevent her from fetching water. Not only that, they went back to their respective hermitages and filled the ears of their husbands. All the sages became very angry. The sages worshipped Lord Ganeshaw to please him. When Ganeshaw appeared, they requested him to drive Gautam out from that place. At first Ganeshaw was reluctant to accept their demand, but when they kept persisting he agreed at last. Ganeshaw entered the field of Gautam in which barley was being cultivated. Ganeshaw had disguised himself as a cow. He started grazing the barley crops. When Gautam saw the cow grazing crops, he tried to drive her out from the field by hitting with the grass on her back. The artificial cow died instantly. Gautam was very sorry for his act. Meanwhile, all the sages from the surrounding area arrived there. They forced Gautam to abandon that place at once. Gautam left that place and made his hermitage at a little distance from there. One day he came to the sages and asked them as to how could he atone for his sins. The sages told him that his sins could be atoned only when he circumambulates the whole earth thrice, all the while saying, "I have killed a cow." They also told him that after that he would have to perform austerities for 1 month. If this is not possible, then you will have to help Ganga manifest herself and take bath in her water. Otherwise you will have to worship 3 crores Parthiva lingas. Only then you can get liberated from the sin of killing a cow, said the sages. Gautam made the Parthiva lingas and started worshipping them. Lord Shiva became very pleased by his devotion and appeared before him. Sage Gautam requested Lord Shiva to liberate him from the sins of killing a cow. He also requested Lord Shiva to manifest the stream of river Ganga at that place. Lord Shiva tried his best to make him understand that he was innocent and the real culprits were those wicked sages. But Gautam was unconvinced. At last Lord Shiva instructed Ganga to appear in the form of a woman. Gautam eulogized Ganga. By the blessings of Lord Shiva, Gautam was liberated from his sins of killing a cow. After that, Ganga expressed her desire to go back, but Lord Shiva asked her to remain on the earth till the 28th Navamtar. Ganga accepted to do that, on the condition that Lord Shiva along with Parvati too would remain present on the earth. Lord Shiva established himself as Triambakeshwar Jyotirlinga, and Ganga became famous as Gautami Ganga. The origin of Baidyanath. The demon king Ravana did the tremendous penance to please Lord Shiva and to get a boon from him. Even after his severe penance, when Lord Shiva did still not appear, he started offering his heads one by one to Lord Shiva. This way he already severed his 9 heads and offered them to Shiva. When he was about to sever his last remaining head, just the Lord Shiva appeared before him. He blessed Ravana with unparalleled power and strength. Lord Shiva also made him a 10-headed demon once again. But Ravana was not satisfied. He requested Lord Shiva to come along with him to Lanka. Lord Shiva gave Ravana a Shivlinga and warned him against keeping it on the earth, as then no power on the earth could lift that Shivlinga from there. Ravana proceeded with the Shivlinga. On the way he felt the urge to urinate. Ravana gave that Shivlinga to a cowherd boy and went to urinate. The cowherd boy held the Shivlinga for some time. He felt that the Shivlinga was becoming heavier and heavier. He could not bear the weight of the Shivlinga for too long. He kept it on the ground. When Ravana returned, he became very sad after seeing the Shivlinga on the ground. He knew that, now it was impossible to lift it from that place. Ravana established the Shivlinga there, which became famous as Baidyanath Jyotirlinga. The origin of Nadeshwar Jyotirlinga. During ancient times, there lived a demon named Daruk. The name of his wife was Daruka. They used to torment the people living in that area. The residents of that area went to Sage Orsh and narrated about their miseries and requested him to end this menace. Orsh assured them that very soon their hardships would come to an end. He then went to do his penance. The deities appeared before him after being pleased by his tremendous penance. Sage Orsh requested the deities to kill the demons. The deities went to fight with the demons. The demons got scared and started thinking about the means by which their lives could be saved. Daruka, the wife of Daruk, had received a boon from goddess Parvati, due to which she had gained unparalleled power. She carried the whole forest and placed it in the middle of the sea. This way the demons again lived without being perturbed by the threat of the deity's attack. One day the demons saw many boats sailing in the sea, on which were many people on board. The demons made all the people captive. There was a man named Supriya who was great devotee of Lord Shiva. He used to worship Lord Shiva daily, even though he was under captivity. Rest of the people too got influenced by his devotion, and everybody started worshipping Lord Shiva. This way, 6 months had passed. One day a demon saw Supriya worshipping the idol of Lord Shiva. He went to Daruk and informed him. Daruk became extremely furious. He asked Supriya, as to whom was he worshipping. Supriya, still engrossed in his worship, did not give any reply. This made Daruk even more angry. He tried to kill Supriya. Lord Shiva appeared and killed all the demons. Daruka's heart was full of grief at the news of her husband's death. She went to Parvati and told her how Lord Shiva had killed Daruka. Parvati met Lord Shiva and both of them decided to protect their respective devotees by establishing themselves at that place. Thus, Nadeshwar Jyotirlinga came into existence. Establishment of Rameshwar. After Hanuman brought the news that Sita had been held captive by Ravana at Lanka, Sri Rama proceeded towards Lanka with a huge army. After reaching the seashore, he faced the problems of crossing over the sea. Sri Rama made a Parthiva Linga of Shiva and worshipped it. Lord Shiva became very pleased with him and appeared. He blessed Sri Rama to be victorious. Sri Rama, on the other hand, requested him to establish himself in that Parthiva Linga, to which Lord Shiva agreed. This way Rameshwar Jyotirlinga came into existence. The origin of Dashmesh Jyotirlinga. There used to live a Brahmin by the name of Sudama, who belonged to the lineage of sage Bhardwaj. He was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. Saudya was his wife. Sudama had no son. Saudya desires for a son. She expressed her desire to Sudama, but he did not listen to her pleas. One day Saudya had gone for an outing accompanied by her companions. Incidentally, a quarrel ensued among them and her companions made fun of her issueless status. Saudya was very sad. After returning to her hermitage, she narrated the whole incident to Sudama. Sudama meditated on the form of Shiva and threw 2 flowers towards his wife. He thought that if Saudya picks up the flower, which he had thrown with his right hand, then certainly a son would be born. But if she picks up the another flower, then there is no chance of her giving birth to a son. Unfortunately, Saudya picked up the flower which Sudama had thrown with his left hand. Sudama told his wife that she was never going to become a mother. He advised her to dedicate her life in the devotion of Lord Shiva. When Saudya learned that there was no chance of her becoming a mother, she insisted her husband to marry for a second time, so that he could become a father. But Sudama refused to marry for the second time. Saudya brought her younger sister, Dhushma, to the hermitage and married her with the reluctant Sudama. Dhushma proved to be a very faithful wife. She engaged herself in the service of Sudama and Saudya. She also used to worship the Parthiva Linga of Shiva daily. After her worship, she used to immerse the Parthiva Lingas in a pond. This way, when she had accomplished the worship of 1,00,000 Parthiva Lingas, Lord Shiva blessed her with a son. Sudama was extremely pleased, but Saudya became jealous of her own sister. When the child grew up, he was married to a beautiful Brahmin girl. Dhushma instructed the bride to take special care of Saudya. So the bride engaged herself in the service of everybody. She took special care of looking into the needs of Saudya. But still, Saudya's jealousy did not diminish. One day, gripped by excessive jealousy and anger, she killed Dhushma's son while he was asleep. She cut his body into many pieces and threw those pieces into the same pond, in which Dhushma used to immerse the Parthiva Lingas. When the daughter-in-law noticed a piece of flesh on the bed, she started crying. She went to Dhushma and narrated the whole story. Hearing the news of her son's killing, Dhushma too started crying. Saudya also wept artificially. Sudama arrived there. Though he himself was very sad, yet he instructed Dhushma to do the daily worship of Parthiva Linga as usual. Dhushma obeyed the command of her husband. She worshipped the Parthiva Lingas and went to the pond of immense. By the blessings of Lord Shiva, her son was standing at the bank of the pond alive. He came towards his mother and said, "Mother, I have become alive even after my death." Dhushma was still engrossed in her thoughts of Lord Shiva, so she could not listen to her son. Lord Shiva appeared and blessed Dhushma. He also expressed his desire to punish her wicked sister, Saudya, for her evil deed, but Dhushma requested him to forgive her. She also requested Lord Shiva to stay there forever. Lord Shiva accepted her demand and established himself in the form of Jyotirlinga. Sudama and Saudya arrived at that place and worshipped Shiva. At last everybody returned home happily. Lord Vishnu received Sudarshan Chakra. The deities went to Lord Vishnu, after being tormented by the demons. They requested him to annihilate the demons. After assuring them, Lord Vishnu went to Kailash mountain to do his penance. But even his tremendous penance was not enough to please Lord Shiva. Lord Vishnu then worshipped Lord Shiva by chanting the mantras of Shiva Sahasranamavali. He also offered 1,000 lotus flowers to Lord Shiva in course of his worship. One day Shiva wanted to test the devotion of Lord Vishnu. He stole one lotus flower from among the 1,000 flowers. When Lord Vishnu began his worship, he found that there was one flower less. To make up for this deficiency, he offered his one eye to Lord Shiva, his eye which has been compared with a lotus flower. Lord Shiva was very much impressed by his exceptional devotion. He appeared before Vishnu and asked him to demand any boon he wished. Lord Vishnu demanded a divine weapon to annihilate the demons. Lord Shiva gave him a sparkling Sudarshan Chakra. On the request of Lord Vishnu, he established himself in the form of Shivlinga. At last Lord Vishnu killed the demon with his Sudarshan Chakra. Sutta told the sages that Lord Vishnu had worshipped Lord Shiva with the help of his 1,000 names. Some of the chief names of Shiva are Shiva, Ha, Mrid, Rudra, Pushkar, Pushpalachan, Arthigamya, Sadasha, Shav, Shambhu, Meshwar, etc. A devotee who chants these 1,000 names of Lord Shiva attains all the accomplishments. Chanting it during distress helps a man to become free from all kings of misfortune. Lord Vishnu could kill the demons only because of the power he derived from the chanting of Sahasranam. The devotees of Shiva. Describing about the numerous devotees of Shiva who were famous for their devotion towards Lord Shiva, Sutta named a few of them like Duvasa, Vishwamitra, Dadichi, Gaudam, Kanad, Bhargav, Brihaspati, Vshampayam, Parasha, Vyasa, Upamanu, Yajavalkya, Jaimini and Garg etc. He also narrated a tale connected with King Sudama. Once Sudama had gone into that forest which was gifted to Parvati by Lord Shiva, with the warning that any man who dares to enter it would become a woman. As soon as Sudama entered that forest, he got transformed into a woman. He became very sad. He worshipped Lord Shiva to regain his masculinity. Lord Shiva, pleased by his devotion, blessed him to be as a man for 1 month and again as a woman for the same period of time alternately. Austerities and Maha Shivratri for Shiva's worship. Once Parvati asked Lord Shiva as to which were the austerities when on being performed by a devotee, helps him to attain both worldly accomplishments as well as liberation. Lord Shiva told her about 10 austerities connected with his worship and their methods. He said, on the 8th day of every month the devotee should worship me by observing a fast for the whole day and breaking it in the night. But on Kalashtami a devotee must observe the fast for the whole day and night. He must not have food on that day. On the 11th day of the dark lunar month, a devotee must worship me and observe fast during the day. He should break the fast in the night. But on the 11th day of the bright lunar month, a devotee should observe a fast for the whole period of day and night. On the 13th day of dark lunar month the devotee must observe fast for the whole period of day and night, whereas on the 13th day of a bright lunar phase he should observe a fast during the day and break it in the night. A fast observed on Monday should be broken only in the night. Lord Shiva continued with his statements. Among all the austerities and fastings, Maha Shivratri holds a supreme place. It falls on the 14th day of the dark lunar month of Phalgun. On this day the devotee should take a vow to observe a fast after awakening in the morning and finishing his daily choirs. He must observe a fast for the whole day and night. In the night he should worship me either in the temple or in his own home according to his convenience. He should worship me with the help of 16 modes of worship, Shadasapaka. He should either chant the mantras of Lagarudra or perform abhishek during the course of worship. While doing worship he should eulogize me and perform artis in my praise. He can perform abhishek with either of the followings: milk, water, sacred water of belonging to a place of pilgrimage, sprinkling water with cowshaw, sugarcane juice, honey and ghee, etc. The devotee should engage himself in my devotion for the whole day. In the end he should feed the Brahmins and make donation to them. A fast observed in this way gives infinite virtues to the devotee. After observing fasts for 14 consecutive years on each of the Shivratri days, a devotee should perform Udyapan, religious rites performed on the accomplishment of an observance. On the day preceding the Udyapan ceremony, a devotee must have food for one time. The next day a devotee should perform Udyapan after making a religious vow and according to the appropriate methods. A devotee who performs Udyapan in the above-mentioned way attains to the Shivaloka. The greatness of Shivratri. There used to live a poor Bhil named Gurudruha. He was very poor. One day, finding no food available in his house, he went to the forest to hunt an animal. Unfortunately he did not find any animal which he could hunt. Being hungry, he sat down on the bank of a pond and pondered as to what would happen to his family members who were hungry too. He thought that if he waited there, then he might get a chance to kill a thirsty animal, which arrives there to drink water. Gurudruha climbed up a bil tree and waited for his prey. A Shivlinga was established just under that tree, and coincidentally it was a Shivratri day. When the first 3 hours of the night had passed, he saw a female deer arriving with her young ones. He got ready with his bow and arrow and aimed his arrow towards the female deer. By coincidence some leaves from that bil tree fell on the Shivlinga along with some drops of water from the vessel in which he was carrying water. Gurudruha had accomplished the worship of Shiva during the first prayer of the night unwaringly. After hearing the noise made by falling drops of water, the female deer looked up. She saw Gurudruha sitting with his bow and arrows. She asked him about his desire. Gurudruha told her that he wanted to kill her, so that he could feed his family members. The female deer requested him to allow her to go so that she could leave her young ones in the safe custody of her husband. She promised to come back. At first Gurudruha was reluctant, but when the female deer started giving illustrations from the scriptures, he allowed her to go. Meanwhile the sister of female deer arrived there with her young ones. When Gurudruha saw her, he got ready to kill her. Suddenly his movements on the tree made some leaves ogle and few drops of water to fall on the Shivlinga. It was the second prahara of the night, and Gurudruha had again performed the worship of Shiva unawaringly. When the female deer, second, heard the noise made by falling drop of water, she looked up towards Gurudruha. She asked him about his desire. When Gurudruha told about his desire, she requested him to allow her to go so that she could hand over her young ones in the safe custody of her husband. Initially, Gurudruha was reluctant to allow her to go, but when she promised to return back, he allowed her to go. Gurudruha sat on the branches of the bil tree waiting for his prey. The second prayer of the night was coming to an end and the third prayer about to begin. The deer arrived there searching for his wife and children. Garudru again made himself ready to kill the deer. Again some leaves and few drops of water fell on the Shivlinga. The worship of Shiva during the third prahara had been accomplished by Garudru, though unawareingly. On hearing the noise made by the falling drops of water, the deer looked up and asked Garudru about his desire. Garudru told him about his desire. The deer requested Garudru to allow him to meet his wife and children for once. The deer promised to return back. After becoming satisfied by his intentions, Garudru allowed him to go to meet his family. Garudru sat on the bil tree waiting for the deers anxiously. The third pra of the night was approaching its end and the fourth pra was about to begin. Suddenly Garudru saw all the 3 deers coming towards the pond. He became extremely pleased at the prospect of getting flare 3 animals. He got ready with his bow and arrows. His movements on the bil tree again made some leaves and few drops of water to fall on the shivling. Garudru had successfully accomplished the worship of Shiva even during the 4th pra. Not only this, he had also remained awake for the whole night of Shivratri. The fast observed by Garudru on Shivratri along with the worship of Shiva though unawareingly had made him an enlightened person. The thought of killing the deers remained no longer in his heart. He thanked all the deers for their help in his attainment of enlightenment. Lord Shiva became extremely pleased and appeared before him. He blessed Garudru that in his next birth he would get an opportunity to serve Sri Rama and would become famous as Nishad. Lord Shiva also told Garudru that by the blessings of Sri Rama he would attain salvation. Sutta, while describing about the virtues of observing fast on Shivratri, told the sages that if a fast observed unwaringly on Shivratri gives such virtues, then what could be said about a fast which is observed deliberately? According to Sutta, such a fast would bestow both worldly pleasures and salvation. Different stages of liberation. Regarding the different stages of liberation, Sutta told the sages that there were 5 stages of liberation capable of freeing a man from the sorrows of this world. 1. Sarupya, similitude with the Almighty. 2. Salokya. 3. Sana, living in the proximity of the Almighty. 4. Sayajya, getting united with the Almighty. 5. Kalvalya, devotion towards God. Only Lord Shiva is capable of bestowing liberation. One can attain dharma, virtuosity, artha, wealth, and kam, desires and wishes, by the worship of other deities, but Lord Shiva bestows all the 4 of them. Lord Brahma is believed to be the master of the 3 elementary qualities, that is sattva, rajas, and tamas. Shiva is beyond these qualities and even the nature itself. He is formless. Lord Shiva is a mystery which remains unsolved, even though many sages and even Lord Brahma have tried to solve this mystery called Shiva. The 5th stage of liberation is called Kaivalya, which is attained by having complete devotion towards Lord Shiva. In the present era of Kali, where the attainment of self-knowledge is very difficult, devotion is relatively an easier path. Even devotion has been categorized into 2 types, A. Saguna, with form, B. Nirguna, formless. If man worships Lord Shiva with total devotion, he attains self-knowledge. Each and every object of this world is nothing but the manifestation of Shiva's power. The creation achieves expansion only when he desires. Shiva is omniscient but himself invisible. Just as the fire, which already exists in the wood but is visible only after it is rubbed, similarly only the jnanis can experience Lord Shiva even though he is omnipresent. Just as there is no difference between cause and effect. but as appears so due to our ignorance. Similarly, an ignorant man can never experience the omnipresent Shiva by his sense organs. The living things possess ego, but Lord Shiva is egoless. A man can successfully subjugates his ego by becoming knowledgeable and attains liberation after uniting with Lord Shiva. This knowledge was received by Lord Vishnu from Shiva. Lord Vishnu later on revealed it to Lord Brahma, and Brahma in turn revealed it to his Manusputra, Sanak, etc. The Manusputra revealed this knowledge to Narada, and Narada revealed it to Vyasa.